Hey friends, welcome back to another vlog. Got an exciting life update today. I have officially completed my wildland firefighter training. So I'm officially a certified wildland firefighter. Got my red card is what it's called. And yeah, I'm now allowed to fight wildfire anywhere in the country. And so it's really exciting. Feels good. This was one of my first goals for the year, and to have that accomplished and checked off feels great. Yeah, it's actually super windy here today and still not that much snow, so yeah, we'll see it. I hope not, I pray not, but it might end up being a really busy fire season this year. So I guess we'll see. And I yeah, I don't even really know. I still have yet to go on a deployment, so that's my next goal for this year at minimum, to get on a wildland deployment, and I suspect that'll happen. Our station has already had a few people get deployed, so yeah, they end up being 2-week deployments where you go and get called in by whatever state or jurisdiction needs additional resources. You go and you do whatever they need help with. You do work for 2 weeks and then you come back. And see, I know that my department is really looking to have a really serious wildland crew going this coming season. So I'm looking forward to trying it out. I have no idea, but I'm just gonna keep, step by step, just one step at a time. I don't really know where any of this is going or how I even totally feel about it all. But it does feel right. It does feel good. I feel motivated, feel excited, and yeah, I really feel I want to learn more. I'm also several weeks into my emergency medical responder EMR training. And so that is mostly just a bunch of classroom. It's quite a few hours of classroom that I'm going through. And yeah, that's for first on scene medical response, kind of standard level 1 emergency medical system training. And it's going well. I am learning a lot and I enjoy it, and it's helpful. I feel like it's giving me a little bit more confidence to show up on calls with a little bit more context, a little bit more direction, a little bit more structure and foundation. And so I'm enjoying it, and I like my teacher a lot, and I'm doing really well. I'm good at classroom. When I'm in person and paying a lot of attention, I really just kind of remember everything. And if I don't remember the details, I really remember the overall point and the structure and the reason for it all. So yeah, my EMR class is going well. Something that I have recognized with both how much classroom I've been doing this year, finishing wildland, and now just plugging away at EMR, is how much of a gap there is between classroom and like head knowledge and actually being able to do these things. It definitely is supportive to have the classroom and that training and that kind of structure and system behind it. But for example, going out on a wildland fire, I'll be able to follow instructions, and that's all I'll need to be able to do. But the fact that I've never actually been on a deployment, I understand from a classroom kind of what it looks like. And we did one field day, like an all-day training outdoor hands-on, like full gear, full everything training day. So that was great. But yeah, the gap between really being able to do something for real, do it embodied, and just being trained in the classroom or having a sense of it, it definitely feels pretty big. And in these high stakes environments, that gap feels major. And so I've also going on calls, while on one hand the EMR training feels great, on the other hand I really am witnessing that gap. As my most recent call, medical call, I sort of could see myself not being able to apply what I had been learning in classroom just because of the pressure and the speed and the stress of the situation. And it was, I didn't make any mistakes or anything. I just could see that I had this awareness that, oh, I've had these things I've been learning and I could implement them, but I like froze up a little bit. I wasn't actually quite able to implement them because of just the nature of the real life situation. And so it makes me feel more excited and more motivated to keep just getting in hours at the station to try to get more practice running real calls. So that's, I mean, I feel it more than ever. The certifications and the classroom and the training, those are all great, but it's the real learning happens when it's for real. And last night actually I stayed overnight at the station last night, and I'm gonna try to be doing that consistently once a week. Do a overnight at the station, so sleeping there. And we got a call last night, so it was my first middle of the night 3 a.m. call, and I learned a lot. It was good. It was I learned a lot going on that first nighttime call last night, of just the process of, going from in bed to just moving quickly, making sure everything's prepared already there, and then moving quickly and going in the middle of the night, and then just every call I get, more practice. And I feel really grateful for the practice, and I feel grateful that things feel less stressful. I feel kind of more excited for calls right now than before, feeling nervous or almost traumatized. And so I feel grateful for where things are at. Also makes me just consider, at the start of the year, I was sort of in my head, my plan was, once I'm done with EMR, just as quickly as I can move on to EMT training. And I'm definitely second guessing that now. I don't know how fruitful it would be to jump right into EMT training once I finish EMR, because like I said, the classroom and the gap between classroom and training and field, especially in these high pressure situations, just feels really, really big. And so it's almost like, rather than just, once I have these base level certifications, I can fight wildfire, I know the baseline of what to do as a first responder for medical, which are the majority of the calls. Once I have that, it's just, I feel like practicing for real is where I should be putting my energy, rather than trying to just rush through certifications or classroom, because I think I could actually do really well in EMT, in any classroom. EMT, I would probably even do well in paramedic classroom, but the gap between like my knowledge and then my embodied ability to carry that out in the field and under pressure, it almost feels like it would just grow too wide. And so, yeah, we'll see. I actually have no idea, and maybe I'll end up getting a lot of calls the next several months and a lot of training, and I'll feel differently. But yeah, it reminds me of just the slow, step-by-step process this all is. So I guess in EMR training, the thing that has been the most fun for me and the most interesting to me by far has been just learning more details about the process, the system of perfusion, which is the circulatory system delivering oxygen to all of the cells in the body and then removing waste. So essentially this process of, as we breathe in the oxygen, how the blood takes that oxygen and the heart delivers that to every cell in the body. And I've learned a little bit about it in the past, but just going over it in so much detail and so much focus, that's been the primary focus, because ultimately most emergency medical calls are related to either heart, cardiac, or lungs, respiratory. And so the process of perfusion, of how those work together in order to do the fundamental process of keeping the body alive and giving the oxygen to all the cells and removing the waste from all the cells. That's been our focus, and I really think it's truly beautiful. It feels poetic and beautiful, to me. It just this process of taking in breath, and it goes down 1, 2, I think that's the trachea. I don't remember all of the terms yet, and we actually don't really need to be, the terms are not the most important part of what we're learning right now, but and then as it goes into all the little air sacs in the lungs, the alveoli, which is where the gas exchange happens with blood capillaries. The oxygen goes into the blood and the CO2 comes off the blood and exchanges, and then the exhale releases that CO2. It reminds me of a tree going from the trunk into, it's actually apparently 500 million alveoli of these little balloons where the gas exchange happens. And so the image of it as a tree just feels really beautiful to me. And then the circulatory process where the blood from the heart has the four chambers, the left and right ventricles and atriums. And so the reason for those is let's say the heart pumps blood from the heart to the lungs in order to do that gas exchange. So it pumps unoxygenated blood to the lungs, and then that gas exchange happens, oxygenated blood goes back to the heart, and then that oxygenated blood gets pumped from the heart to the whole body, and then that capillaries ultimately, essentially from the aorta, from one massive artery coming off the heart, branches into trillions of capillaries. There's 30 trillion cells in the body, and more or less, capillaries feed every single cell. And so it's another structure of a tree, a fractal tree structure. And so anyway, I'm really excited. For me, it feels poetic and beautiful. And so then as that gas exchange happens, the cells receive the oxygen, offload their carbon dioxide waste into the blood. Unoxygenated blood comes back to the heart, and then from the heart it gets pumped back to the lungs, and it makes this beautiful cycle that's like trees, or humans exhaling trees inhaling, what humans exhale. It's very natural and very beautiful. And I don't know, there's part of me that just feels it in my soul, and it makes me excited and makes me in awe of life. Yeah, and I want to express it on here because when I try to express why I think it's so beautiful, I don't think anyone has really understood me yet. I'm like, wow, this is such a beautiful process. And I know a lot of what I witness of people analyzing it from a much more mechanical process. And yeah. So I've been thinking a lot. It's been very interesting getting full on Western medical training, because like I said, just learning about the details of perfusion, the details of that infinity symbol process of life that is happening in us all of the time and with every inhale and every exhale has been just so inspiring and so amazing to really get into the nitty-gritty details of that. But at the same time, there's a lot of things that, I don't know, feel weird. I've had a lot of experiences with the medical system, and it's really been making me think. And so I think that's going to be a topic that I'm going to continue to talk about of, I don't know, what interests me, and then also where I perceive there are gaps for me, or just like where I perceive gaps. And I don't know if gaps is the right word, but for instance, I think perceiving the body like a machine, or which for some reason it feels like how it's presented often. You give this drug for this thing, and you do this for this, and this for this, and this for this. There's so much cause and effect, if that makes any sense. And that has its place, and I cannot deny if there's any kind of Western medicine that I feel interested in learning, it's emergency. I think emergency medicine is such a tremendous fruit of science and this Western medical system we have. The ability to save lives in critical situations has never existed before. But there's a poetry and a beauty and a life, a romance that is missing a little bit for me. And I wouldn't even say it's missing, but I feel like there's an expression or a perspective or an integration that is being brought forward that makes me excited and feels fun and discovering and creative. So yeah, that'll be something I hope to talk about soon. And in the meantime, I'm like deep into this firefighting thing, and it's been good. It hasn't been easy, but it also has been, the capacity has been there, and so I'm very grateful. And I don't know how often I'll have updates because, like I said, it's a slow step-by-step process. I still have many more hours, or so I don't know exactly how long, but still have a lot more before I finish my EMR. And we'll see where this next upcoming season takes me. And so week to week, I'm just doing my simple things, and but grateful for the journey, grateful to be making the steps, grateful to be breathing breath by breath. So thank you all for listening to my journey and my perspective on all this stuff, and I look forward to sharing more, and I love you all. So talk to you later.